One of the greatest challenges of any teacher is learning to communicate with his students. High school students can be particularly challenging because of their age. It is, quite frequently, the most difficult time of their lives and the most trying time of ours. A quote by William Galvin states that Mother Nature is providential. She gives us 12 years to develop a love of our children before turning them into teenagers. The stages that occur in the transformation of children into adults are known for their complexity, especially in the realm of communication. However, communicate with teenagers I must. I have chosen to become an educator, a teacher of history at the secondary level. In this role, it will not only be beneficial, but also required that I have the proper skills to both make myself heard and understood by teenage students, and that, in turn, I can use those same learned behaviors to have better insight into what they are attempting to convey to me. Today, I'll be talking about the causes of challenges in communication with teens, as well as providing practices that may aid in the process. By gaining a better understanding of the teenage mind, and by learning effective communication skills, both in and out of the classroom, both adults and teenagers can improve their shared experience. As a future educator and a parent of 6 children who are either in or nearing their own teenage years, I decided to research the skills that would enable me, both professionally and personally, to reach teenagers, make an impact, and forge trust. To share what I have learned, I will explain what I believe to be the most effective when faced with communication challenges with teens. But first, let's discuss the process of the teenage mind. According to an article in The Independent titled "The Truth About Teen Angst," the many changes a teenager's body is undergoing directly impact their ability to communicate. A teenager's sleep pattern, or body clock, is set later, causing irritability and trouble concentrating due to the lack of sleep. Their body wants to stay up later, and it can't be helped. Puberty causes drastic changes in the body of a teenager, which can be a distraction. Body hair, shape changes, voice changes, all of this can be overwhelming. Hormones are drastically increased, which leads to many personal issues. Emotions are intensified and often difficult to control. Thought processes can become overwhelming, leading to inappropriate reactions. New emotions lead to new social stimuli, which can also cause distractions. Now that we've looked at some of the challenges of the teenage mind, let's look at the best way to communicate. I've found some basic means of communication when I read the article, "How to Communicate with a Teenager," in the Complete and Authoritative Guide to Caring for Your Teenager, the American Academy of Pediatrics. When speaking with a teenager, oftentimes there may be little or no response. A lack of response does not always mean that the message was not heard. However, when a teenager speaks, it is important to pay attention. If you expect the same to be returned, respect must be earned. The more specific a question, the better the reaction. It is important to always ask questions that elicit a conversation. The more details, the better. When listening to a teenager, reflective listening is crucial. You must always show active signs that you are paying attention. When it is your turn to speak, summarize the data that you have been provided. And always be empathetic as you can be. As with any conversation, it is important to show that you hear and understand. Lastly, I want to provide classroom-specific data to help focus our communication guidelines. While looking at a website called Sweet 101, I found an article titled "Teaching Teenagers: How to Motivate and Interest Them." It provides classroom-specific tips for reaching a teenage student. Teenagers have a heightened idea of right and of wrong, and need respect to respond well to instruction. It is paramount to behave with integrity. Be their teacher, not their friend. Being somewhat self-absorbed as a result of all the changes they're undergoing, it's important to involve them in the decision-making process for the class. Doing this can be a great way to pique their desire to interact. Classroom engagement will improve as well. And although they are not completely children, they're also not yet adults. Whether they know it or not, they crave structure and authority. Being firm and organized is crucial. I know that I plan on using these concepts both in my working environment as an educator and at home as a parent. I intend on attempting to use these reflective listening skills more often in conversation with children and teenagers. I plan on using the skills to validate their feelings, show that I am listening to them as well as hearing them, and to open the gateway for further discourse and communication. I have shown the challenges that teenagers face and some of the useful ways to help you communicate better with them, both in school and in home environments. The next time you're teaching a classroom full of high schoolers or at home with your own children, you will have some tools you need to communicate with them effectively. For them, it can be a period of much uncertainty, skepticism, and distrust. For adults, it can be a time of much confusion and well-intentioned mistakes. Fortunately, with the appropriate skill set, it does not have to be any of these things. With patience, understanding, and an arsenal of communication techniques, you can reach the teenagers in your life. This information given today is not conclusive, but with these tips you can better prepare yourself for the challenges that await you. Growing up is never easy, and I certainly cannot promise that it will be without issues, for them or for us, but it doesn't have to be as trying if we're all on the same page. Thank you.